Hi, this is Andy with Mountain Computers. I'm the Go Green PC tune-up guy. I also work here at Mountain Computers here in Reno, Nevada. Today is October 15th. It's the day after Columbus Day, which was the 14th. And today's letter is H, and we only have four topics in H today. One is holidays and how it relates to computers. Number two is hybrid, which has been around for a long time. I helped invent it some 25, 30 years ago. Hackers is number three, and HTML, that's number four. So, let's talk about holidays, okay? We've got holidays coming up. In the computing world, you must understand computer people, they like vacations too, they like holidays, but at the same time, you need coverage, 24/7 coverage. So it's important for some of the staffing positions and management positions that you have a fair and honest response time to your systems, to your people who might be working on the weekends or be working on the holidays. Any scheduled maintenance during the holidays, make sure that you have your vendors who are probably backing you up. Make sure they're aware you're going to be doing maintenance work over the holidays. Make sure that everybody's aware that needs to be aware, from stakeholders to management to staff to your vendors. So when it comes to the holidays, and make sure that if you have a holiday that drops in the middle of the week, that, say for instance the holiday's Thursday or Wednesday, that you give your team those extra 2 more days, like Thursday, Friday off. Make it like a 5-day weekend. I mean, we used to do that all the time when we had staff and team members. But now, we just sort of like work all the time. We're responsible all the time. We answer the phones all the time. We don't really have to take a vacation, but we're going to take a vacation soon. So I want you to know, going into the holidays, think about people getting sick, even the sick people who are critical to your systems, critical to your business, that they're responsive, that they're dedicated. You don't stress them out. You think about end-of-year bonuses and promotions and reviews and all those things. So when it comes to the holidays, it's a good time to plan. It's a good time to enjoy. If you have a company party, make sure that you have VIP people that come and enjoy part of it. That you have vendors. You invite vendors if you want to. Be responsible. Be happy and friendly, and enjoy yourself. It's the holidays. So number two, hybrid. Okay, so let's talk about hybrid. In terms of computing, okay, back in 1994, I was at Microsoft. And then in 1997, I was outside of Microsoft. And then in 2001, 2002, I was working on some web e-commerce solutions. And the term hybrid we came up with was we would have our critical systems and software and code on our premise, on our servers internal, behind all of our layers of firewalls and protection. And then the public static content, like what they call today the content delivery networks, the CDN stuff, that's where we'd have all of our bulk images, static content, high speed reference linking, and those became our high velocity content delivery networks. But we would keep all of our proprietary code and formulas and the secret sauce, the magic in our work on our local servers, and that was the hybrid. Part of it is in the cloud on a high-speed backbone, high-speed network, and then your proprietary stuff is local. So the two work together. The two were very resilient. There's all sorts of web caching, all sorts of bandwidth management, brokerage, and that was before we even had what they have today, software as a service, cloud services, microservices, all those things, to where you really get away from the hardware. You don't have servers anymore. We still have servers, both one here on site and then 9 of them in the cloud. We got rid of 2. We consolidated. But when it comes to hybrid, think about hybrid solutions. You don't have to take a canned solution. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. But it's important to have it properly documented and properly understandable from both the technical and non-technical people. From your IT management to your C-levels, to your analysts, systems analysts, project managers, documentation, training, white collar, blue collar, internal, external. Have it documented appropriately. Okay? So that's about it on hybrid. Let's talk about hackers. Hacking is going on all the time. It was going on 40, 50 years ago. People trying to get into systems to see what's in there, ethically and unethically. So when it comes to hacking, be a white hat hacker like me. Be on somebody's agenda to audit their systems. We were just talking about Mountain Audit over the weekend. We wanted Mountain Audit to be both an internal, external service to companies about 15 years ago. And at the time, it worked out with various companies. We'd go in and audit them, give them a report of weaknesses and show them what they're doing right and show them what they need, improvements on, and do sort of a gap analysis. And I just had the opportunity to go and survey some federal facilities, both on and off the clock. And their, more or less their border or their edge was very weak. Easy to penetrate, easy to dissect. Have I given them that report yet? No. The reason why it wasn't really my job, I was sort of a guest. But I want you to know that if you do find something, like I found something with Learjet, some of their technology I was working on, and with Learjet, and I found a sort of a network hole, sort of something lingering. I was like, well, that's weird. So then I pursued it a little bit further, and then I got to a point where I said, this is really an issue. So I tried to contact the powers that be with Learjet. Nobody you can really contact. So I contacted PR marketing, and I gave them enough to say, put me in contact with somebody, and here is what I have an issue with, and you should too. It's a great concern. So lo and behold, they looked and they said, oh my God, thank you so much. So, just when it comes to hacking, there's appropriate channels and methods to communicate. Just like when you find a bug in some software, there's severities of bugs, a major severity like category 1 through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some of them you have to, like they have bug bounty and bonuses where you can make millions of dollars. But as a hacker, you want to be professional, ethical. It takes a criminal to catch a criminal. So people who think like a criminal or can see through things, those are important to have on your team. So when it comes to hacking, it's not a bad word. It's like being called a nerd or a diode head or a bit twiddler. Those are all fine terms. So don't worry about it. Just somebody who's curious enough to poke and prod. And, in my blog I talked about all the things that you can think of in an organization is subject to review, is subject to security, is subject to scrutiny. So never be afraid to even tell your boss or tell the people, have we done this before? And they'll say, well, we don't need to. Well, ransomware hits, and guess what? We should have done something. So if you're a public entity or a private entity, your biggest concern is data theft, failure of compliance, failure of HIPAA, failure of FinSec, or any kind of Sarbanes-Oxley, Gramm-Leach-Bliley, Safe Harbor Act, the GDPR stuff. You got to be aware of all this stuff and put it together in a nice policy, package, and procedure and plan to take action on in your organization. So hackers can help you with that because we see lots of things in so many different ways. And yeah, some of us are communicators and some of us don't like to be talked to. I'm a little of both. So HTML, last one, number 4. And we'll wrap this up and get back to work. I got about 3 main game systems that just came in, so I got to work on those. But HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. That's what HTML stands for. What's the fastest HTML program that you can write. Real simple. A text file ending with HTML or HTML, and inside the file is just a simple open and close, greater than less sign, the word HTML, open and close sign on the next line, body, hello world, exclamation, and then close the nesting of body, which is greater than less sign, slash body, then greater than less sign, slash HTML. That's it. That's the fastest HTML program you can ever think of. One thing that I've learned about people who do HTML, CSS, Cascade Style Sheets, HTML5, CSS3, or whatever, they use a program. When I started doing this stuff back in 1993, we had Notepad++, we had PFE32, we had all sorts of development tools that were basically text editors. We could fix code because we could read it. We knew the HTML specifications, 3.2, 4.0, so on and so forth, even to today. When you find somebody in an organization that can read and write HTML at that level, they're valuable to have. But you also need people who are more artsy-fartsy, graphic design people, web designers, not web developers. Web designers make $65 an hour. Web developers make $125 an hour. The designers are more, they make it look good and they make it look, a UI look great, a website look great, but it's heavy. The web developer comes in, makes the HTML extremely fast, robust, readable. I mean, some web editors, some web programs just vomit code where you can't even read it. You open it up and look at the HTML code and it just looks like vomit. It looks like garbage. You don't like that. You like code that you can read, pick apart if there's an issue or an error from, like even Bootstrap. If you have a problem where it doesn't look right, you should be able to figure it out just looking at the code. And you can, pick it apart, test with it, and then figure out what part of some embed or some include is jacking with some JavaScript, something. It might not look all the same on the same platform even though it's supposed to. So that's it for today. Holidays, hybrid, hackers, and HTML. Again, this is Andy with Mountain Computers, the Go Green PC Tune-Up guy. Go to my website, go to gogreenpctuneup.com. Just Google GGPCTU. Like, subscribe, and share. Try our software. We have a website evaluation tool as well that I turned on a couple weeks ago. It's starting to get used pretty heavily, and it looks for 4 or 5 things with SEO, which are primary. So go to our website, look under, on the far right hand side you'll see website analysis. Type in your website URL, see what it comes back and tells you. It tells you like 3 or 4 things that are critical to your website that you may not be aware of. So other than that though, this is Andy from Mountain Computers. Have a great day. Happy Columbus Day. Some people called it Indigenous Day, whatever. Yes, Native Americans were here before Christopher Columbus came along. And there were other people before the Native Americans as well, so they're not here to defend themselves. So, other than that though, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.